Hey, hello. Um, I don't think your mic is on. I can't hear you.
Uh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, Jay, nice to meet you.
You too. And thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Really appreciate it.
Make sure I'm centered here. All right, I think that looks better.
So yeah, once again, I appreciate your time.
Oh, no worries. No worries whatsoever. Always happy to hop on a call like this.
And I am a big fan of yours.
Oh, wow. How long have you been watching my channel for?
I've been watching your channel for about a year and a half now.
Right on. We've made some good videos since then. I'm glad you hopped on.
So yeah, the first question is, I read in your bio you used to be a sportscaster before all this happened. So
Yeah. I studied journalism when I was a college student. I got really involved with my college radio station. I'm from New Jersey originally,
okay,
so I went to Rutgers, and we had some big programs there. So I used to do play-by-play for the college football, college basketball, baseball, and that led me onto a career path originally of doing sportscasting. Again, mostly play-by-play. I did like Division 1 basketball at Wagner College in Staten Island. I did minor league baseball for a bunch of years all over the country. I did some television work, and like that's my basis, I suppose, for my content creation was doing that.
yeah, and it says here that you are a survivor of cancer.
Yeah. I survived the testicular cancer. I actually did a video about it on my channel because I was making YouTube videos at that point. It was in 2018, I
Okay,
believe. It's been 6 7 years.
good God.
Yeah. And yeah, that was very scary, and it made me appreciate life a lot more. And yeah, I tried raising, and I have raised some money for testicular cancer awareness because it is the leading cancer in young men, and a lot of guys don't really know about it, or to
Yeah,
know to check themselves in the shower. Especially men like 21 to 40 are highest risk. So yeah, that was crazy. But yes, I am a survivor of testicular cancer, and it was a blessing in disguise, I guess, because my audience is very male and young. So if there was anyone that needed to hear about it, it was my viewers. So if it had to happen to someone, I'm glad it happened to me, and I could bring some awareness to it.
yeah. So how do you go from being a sportscaster to having a successful YouTube channel?
Well, you would think that they're very different, but actually, a lot of the skills that I picked up as a sportscaster really come in handy. Most notably, just being able to ad lib on camera and
Mm-hmm.
like talk about what's going on. Like, well, I'm just observing things, and it's a completely different subject, but what I'm doing is very similar. I'm just talking about like what's going on, why is this important. I'm just like instead of describing how tall a basketball player is, I'm describing like how tall a burger is. So a lot of these things helped me obviously to
Yeah.
grow, but it wasn't a direct path. I basically took a year off. I was a sportscaster until 2015 in the
Okay.
spring, and I left this TV station I was working at. I hit a ceiling in my career. I couldn't get a national job. I really wanted a national gig. I couldn't get an agent. The
Yeah.
pay was very bad. So I took a year off, and then spring of 2016, I saw a video by Casey Neistat where he was basically travel vlogging. He was going on an airplane. He was like talking about all these things. And my wife and I had at the time, girlfriend, now wife, had this big trip planned to go to Europe for a few months.
Oh
So I
wow.
figured, let me buy a camera. Let me, like, this Casey Neistat character inspired me. He made it look super easy. Why don't I try vlogging? Why don't I try teaching people about travel and my adventures? And then that was really the basis. The first video was May 2016, so a little over 9 years ago I started. But it was just more like I have this skill set already. I know how to talk, so do it in a different way. And I got lucky, I guess. It worked out for me. But it was more like I had a longing for something creative. I really, after I left sportscasting, felt this huge creative void in my life, and YouTube filled it quite well.
So, I know I'm reading here that one of your videos went viral because of that cheesesteak shop with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, are you talking about the YouTube or the Instagram one?
The TikTok.
The TikTok? Oh, I've had a lot of videos go viral on TikTok for like no reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah. TikTok is fun. That one, what was it? Bradley Cooper opened up a cheesesteak shop. I wasn't the first person to cover this at all.
Okay.
He basically opened up a shop in the East Village, and he would go in to cook. So it wasn't just like a celebrity endorsement. He was back there cooking, which I thought was crazy. So I went. I think it went viral because it's really expensive. It's probably the most expensive cheesesteak in New York. I think it's like 16 or 17 bucks.
Really? It was that much?
Yeah, I mean, the rent's expensive in the East Village, but it was good. I don't know if I would go back there necessarily. I'm not a huge cheesesteak person, but I was hoping to see Bradley Cooper. He wasn't in that day.
Yeah.
But it was one of those like bucket lists, like, all right. Like it was good, but I don't think it was like 17, 18 bucks good.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, Katz costs more, but that's Katz Deli. That's like practically $30 now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I always see people doing videos about it, and it's just getting worse and worse. And people keep going. People, it's a huge icon in New York. I understand. I've been there quite a few times for videos. It's not my favorite pastrami sandwich in the city, but it's the most iconic one. So they charge whatever they want.
So, as a tour guide / YouTuber on YouTube, where do you recommend, like a tourist or out of towners to go to?
I mean, it depends. Like, is it for a first timer or for someone who's been there before and wants a little bit more of like hidden stuff?
Oh, first timer.
First timers, I mean, I always say to like knock off a lot of the checklist items. I've actually, if anyone's watching and wants to go to my channel, I have 2 different videos that are really good on this. They're different, like 3 and 4 day guides to New York. Okay. Probably some of my top picks would be one observation deck, just one. You don't have to do like all of them. Mm-hmm. Even though my favorite is Summit, One Vanderbilt, I think Top of the Rock is just a little more classic because it's this Art Deco building, and you get to see Midtown Manhattan and the Empire State Building really well. What other first timers, things you must do? I mean, this is cliche, but I say walk the Brooklyn Bridge once, or at least walk part of it for some photos. Get at least one slice of pizza, get at least one bagel, get at least one pastrami sandwich. If you're into the arts, go to at least one Broadway or off-Broadway show if you're on a budget. Try to leave the Manhattan bubble a little bit. Maybe, check out Brooklyn a little bit more. Go to Brooklyn Heights or take a food tour in Jackson Heights, Queens, and really see like how the locals live. That would be amazing. Take the ferry. The ferry's very cheap. It's such a cheap way to go up the East River. I think now it's like, I don't know, $5 a ticket. You go up the East River. You go under the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge. That's a real like hidden gem that I think tourists and locals should do more often. Okay. Yeah. What else? Central Park, of course. At least go to Central Park for a little bit. First timer, maybe a rooftop if you like to drink. Okay. A rooftop bar, nice cocktail, glass of wine. That's pretty, bucket list type New York activity. Those are like the top, few things that come to mind.
And what about if they're on a budget?
On a budget, okay. Well, we have very cheap pizza. Dollar pizza is kind of dead though. There's very few spots that are dollar pizza, but
Okay.
in general, it's like $3 for a slice. So Chinatown is extremely affordable. It's still like I would say all the Chinatowns, but the Manhattan one gets the most tourist attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could still find dumplings like I don't know, 6 or 7 of them for $5, $4.
Okay.
I would say hang out in Chinatown a lot for some of the best deals if you're on a budget. Walk a lot. You know, walking is free in New York. Luckily, it's free. What else? Parks are free. There's a lot of museums. Anyone can Google this that have free admission days. Sometimes it's only a few hours. Sometimes it's an entire day. But you could definitely take advantage of that. City biking around. Not that I recommend you biking on the streets because the cyclists here are crazy. But getting a city bike and going to Central Park, that's a pretty cool thing to do, and it won't cost you that much money.
Okay.
And also like in the warmer months, there's a lot of concerts. Bryant Park has like free movies. There's free concerts. I think at Lincoln Square they have some stuff. There's actually plenty of free things to do if you know where to hunt around. Yeah, like check out Time Out New York for like what's new. There's always something free going on. You're gonna have to work a little harder though.
Of course.
It's much easier to come if you have like unlimited budget, but you know.
Oh yeah, of course. Anywhere.
Yeah, actually, it's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. But what time of year do you recommend people to go?
Well, it depends. If you mentioned budget, if you're on a budget, I would say the best time to come would be like right after New Year's, maybe a week or two after, like mid-January to end of March. You tend to get the best prices on hotels because it's our winter. And, you know, people don't like coming to New York that much in the winter, except for Christmas, which is insanely expensive that period.
Oh, yeah.
But if you just want to save money, that would be my pick. But you have to be willing to put up with cold weather. But the best time of year, in my opinion, would actually be like right now. May and October are my two favorite months to be in New York. Actually, this May's been a little bit rainy and cold. Most Mays aren't. This May's been a little bit gloomy. Maybe like May, June, September, October. I would try to skip the heart of the summer because tourism tends to go up and it's very hot and humid. But I usually tell people mid-May to like early June or most of October are the best like weather. You kind of like, it's a little bit more mild and it's not as crowded, but you can still go outside all the time.
And while you're doing this YouTube channel thing, where was the most best place to eat and the worst place to eat in New York?
Putting me on the spot. Oh man. You know, I don't have like a favorite meal, but I'll like, it kind of depends what mood I'm in, but I would say one of my all-time favorite like New York meals is Sarge's Deli for their pastrami sandwich. I think it's like so buttery and so underrated. That's one of my all-time favorites. Worst meal, I don't even remember the name, but we intentionally went to the worst rated pizza spot in New York, and it was in Midtown. It was so bad. And I never put the name on camera, but people were looking up the Yelp reviews and they figured out where it was. So I'm not going to say the name. I don't remember the name, but it was a really bad slice of pizza. So that's like, it's very, very hard to find bad pizza in New York. That was one of the only times I've ever experienced that.
Like, I mean, how bad was the pizza to be that bad?
You gotta go watch the video, but it was disgusting. I don't know. I don't know how this place stays open.
I thought you would say it was the Olive Garden.
Ooh, that's probably second to last. But at least the Olive Garden was edible. Like this pizza was not edible, so that was
really. It was that bad.
Olive Garden's like bottom 5 though. Easy.
Yeah. I saw that one video where you went to Olive Garden and it did not look that good.
Have you been to New York?
I I had not, but my mom and my dad went. But it is on my bucket list to go there.
Yeah,
So,
you'd have a good time. I'll meet you for some pizza if you go.
okay. I'll take you up on that. And yeah, the last two questions I have here. Do you have any advice for smaller YouTubers to be successful like you all?
Oh, first of all, I appreciate the compliment. I mean, one thing I definitely would say, and this is pretty generic advice, but I think you have to have a lot of confidence, maybe in an almost like laughable sense. Like you just have to have so much like blind faith that what you're doing is important. I
Mm-hmm.
think that'll keep you going through the days where nobody's watching. Because even my channel, when I started, a lot of my early videos barely got attention, and I've had ups and downs as well. I've had periods where I didn't get a lot of views. So I think having this like blind faith in yourself and your abilities is one of the most important things, no matter what. But also finding out like what works for
Mm-hmm.
you, but people are also interested in. Sometimes it's like very like small little. There's a Japanese word for it. I forgot what it's called, but it's like what makes you happy, what makes other people happy. You just find that middle ground, and then like food. I wasn't always the biggest fan of doing food videos, but I've really doubled down on it because people like it a lot. So I've started to become a huge fan of doing food stuff. So I like doing food now. My viewers like food, the cheaper stuff. So when you find like a few buckets, we'll say, that work for your channel, like if you're doing, I don't know, gaming stuff, like is there a game that people watch more than other games you cover? Well, maybe you should do that more often. But really, like repeating what's been successful is my best advice. It's the most simple advice, but many people, they'll make a viral video and then they'll never cover that topic again. And I'm like, why? It's worked for you. I even have to remind myself of that sometimes because, you want to keep doing new things, but it's okay to repeat some
Yeah.
topics just to keep viewers coming in. So those are my best two pieces of advice.
And the last question is, I know you paid $18 for that Korean strawberry.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I liked it a lot, to be honest with you. I thought it was worth the money, but I understand how some people would be like, you're only paying that because it was imported directly from Korea. Like, I wouldn't go buy that every day, but I think for a little splurge, you know what that would be cool for? My wife said, if you put it on like a cake, like something like, you know how usually you put strawberries on a cake and no one's paying attention to it, but if you took a bite, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it'd be a nice surprise in a cake or a cupcake. So I think of like for a rare splurge, it was worth the money because it was different. I don't know, like if they put hormones or like, I don't know what was in it, but I don't want to know, but it was really good. So yeah, I think it was worth it.
And how many strawberries do you get for that $18?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was, I don't know, 7 or 8. It's probably like $2 a strawberry if you do the math.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is.
it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
I am Korean. And I did have some when it went to Korea, but it wasn't that expensive.
Well, you figure you're getting charged for like the, I don't know, what is it, like
Probably.
the import fees
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the tariffs or
Yeah.
all the taxes. Yeah.
So yeah, probably you're right about that. But yeah, thank you for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, Jay. I hope it was helpful, and I hope that your viewers get a little value out of it, especially if they're planning on visiting New York. Have them check out my channel.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
All right, take care. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.